There is a moment when everything becomes clear, and once that moment arrives, there is no turning back. The energy around this message feels heavy with realization, as if someone has reached the end of their search and finally understands what their heart has been trying to tell them all along. They are coming back with purpose, not out of loneliness, not out of habit, but because nothing else has compared to what they felt with you. No matter how many options they explored, none of them carried the same depth, the same pull, or the same sense of home. This reading unfolds through only three powerful cards: the Lovers, Judgment, and the Knight of Cups. Together, they speak of choice, awakening, and an emotional return that can no longer be delayed. This is the story of someone who believed they could find something better, only to realize that what they were looking for already existed in one place. Every other connection felt shallow. Every other possibility faded too quickly, and the truth kept calling them back to you. There is a soft but intense emotional current here. They have compared, reflected, and even tried to move on. Yet your presence stayed with them in quiet moments, in sleepless nights. Something within them has shifted, and now their heart is guiding them back. As you stay with Sophia, allow yourself to feel this energy without judgment. This is not about chasing or waiting. It's about understanding why the return feels so strong and why the past cannot be ignored any longer. The message is unfolding, and what comes next will explain everything they are finally ready to say. The Lovers comes forward in this reading with a very deep and personal message tied directly to this situation. This card is not only about love in the romantic sense, but about choice, comparison, and the moment someone realizes what their heart truly wants. In this topic, the Lovers reveals that this person didn't just drift away without thought. They actively weighed options, explored other connections, and tried to convince themselves that they could feel the same spark elsewhere. Yet every choice they made only brought them closer to one truth: they were measuring everyone against you. There is a strong sense here that this connection was never casual to them. Even when they looked in other directions, your energy stayed present. The Lovers shows that at some point, they stood at a crossroads. One path was easy, familiar, and safe in a surface-level way. The other path felt intense, emotional, and real, but also frightening because it required honesty and vulnerability. For a while, they chose what felt simpler, believing they could silence their deeper feelings. But the heart doesn't forget what it recognizes. What makes the Lovers so powerful in this topic is the element of comparison. This person has seen other options up close. They've listened to other voices, shared moments with others, and still felt something missing. The card reveals disappointment hidden behind polite smiles. It shows conversations that didn't flow the same way, affection that felt forced, and connections that never reached the depth they once had with you. Slowly, they began to realize that what they were searching for could not be recreated. There is also a message here about emotional truth. The Lovers strips away illusions. It doesn't allow pretending forever. At some point, the heart demands honesty. This card suggests that they are no longer able to deny what they feel or who they truly want. Even if they tried to replace you, even if they told themselves it was over, their soul kept pulling them back to the same conclusion. Love, when real, leaves a mark that time and distance cannot erase. In this situation, the Lovers also speaks about mutual recognition. This isn't one-sided longing. There is a shared energetic bond. Whether spoken or not, the connection may have gone quiet, but it never disappeared. This card indicates that when they think of returning, it doesn't feel like starting over. It feels like coming home to something unfinished. They know deep down that what existed between you is rare, and that rarity is exactly why nothing else compared. As this card unfolds its message through Sophia, it carries a gentle but honest reminder. Love is not always about perfect timing or flawless choices. Sometimes it's about learning through contrast. This person needed to see what wasn't right in order to understand what was. The Lover suggests that they now see clearly. The confusion has lifted, and the comparison phase is ended. They are no longer asking who is better, who is easier, or who fits into their life without challenge. They are asking who feels true. This card also hints at a return driven by authenticity. If they come back, it's not because other options failed alone, but because they finally accepted their heart's decision. The Lovers shows alignment between mind and emotion, a place where excuses fall away and truth stands exposed. They understand now that love isn't replaceable, and what they shared with you was never ordinary. That realization is what pulls them back, stronger than attraction, deeper than desire, and rooted in something real. Judgment arrives in this reading with a heavy sense of awakening, the kind that cannot be ignored or delayed any longer. This card speaks directly to the moment when the past rises up and demands to be acknowledged. In the context of this topic, Judgment reveals that this person has reached a turning point. They can no longer run from their truth, distract themselves with other options, or pretend that what they shared with you was something small. Everything they once tried to silence has returned louder than before. This card shows a deep internal review taking place. They are replaying memories, words, and choices, not out of nostalgia, but out of understanding. Judgment brings clarity through reflection. It suggests that they now see how their decisions led them away from something real and meaningful. While they explored other paths, they believed time would dull their feelings. Instead, time sharpened them. The more distance they created, the clearer it became that nothing else compared to the connection they left behind. Judgment is not about guilt alone, but about realization. This person understands that what they lost was not easily replaceable. Other options may have looked appealing on the surface, but they lacked depth and truth. Conversations felt empty. Emotional support felt conditional. Slowly, the noise faded, and what remained was the undeniable echo of you. This card suggests that they are now standing face to face with their own heart, finally willing to listen. There is also a strong theme of accountability here. Judgment indicates that they are aware of their mistakes. They know where they hesitated, where they chose comfort over honesty, and where fear guided their actions. This awareness is what pushes them toward return, not to repeat the past, but to answer the call they ignored before. The card shows a readiness to speak, to explain, and to take responsibility for what went unsaid or undone. In this topic, Judgment also reveals comparison reaching its final stage. They are no longer comparing people on the outside. They are comparing how they felt then versus how they feel now. And the difference is undeniable. With others, they felt temporary satisfaction. With you, they felt alive, seen, and emotionally exposed in a way that scared them at the time. That fear no longer controls them. What once felt overwhelming now feels necessary. As this message flows through Sophia, Judgment carries a tone of truth and timing. This return is not impulsive. It's not driven by jealousy or loneliness. It's driven by awakening. Something inside them has shifted permanently. They have reached the point where silence feels heavier than speaking, and distance feels more painful than vulnerability. This is a call to rise, to choose honesty over avoidance. Judgment also speaks of renewal. If they come back, it's not to relive the past exactly as it was. It's to start again with clarity and intention. They understand now what is at stake. This card shows a willingness to answer the call fully, without excuses. They are ready to face the consequences of their choices, but also ready to claim what they believe is still meant for them. Ultimately, Judgment tells us that the return is not random. It's the result of deep inner work, comparison, and truth finally winning over fear. This person has reached their moment of clarity. They know who they are, what they want, and who truly matters. And once Judgment speaks, there is no going back to ignorance. The truth has been revealed, and it is guiding them straight back to you. The Knight of Cups enters this reading carrying emotion at the surface, no longer hidden or restrained. In the context of this topic, this card speaks of a return led by the heart, not the ego. This is someone who is no longer running from their feelings or trying to outthink their emotions. Instead, they are allowing themselves to feel everything they once pushed away. The Knight of Cups shows a person who has realized that logic and comparison cannot replace emotional truth. This card reveals how their energy has shifted. Where once they hesitated, now they imagine. Where once they stayed silent, now they rehearse words in their mind. They think about what they would say if they reached out, how they would explain their absence, and how they would express what you truly mean to them. The Knight of Cups doesn't approach casually. This is someone who wants their return to feel meaningful, romantic, and sincere. There is a softness here that contrasts with the heaviness of the past. After comparing other options and feeling emotionally unfulfilled, they now understand what was missing. The Knight of Cups shows that they didn't just miss you as a person. They missed how you made them feel about themselves. With others, they felt ordinary. With you, they felt inspired, emotionally awake, and deeply connected. That realization fuels their desire to come back with open arms rather than guarded walls. In this topic, the Knight of Cups also speaks about courage through vulnerability. This person knows that returning means exposing their heart. They know they may be questioned, doubted, or even rejected. Yet the card suggests they are willing to take that risk. Emotional honesty has become more important to them than pride. They would rather express their feelings imperfectly than continue living with regret. As this message moves through Sophia, the Knight of Cups carries an energy of confession. This is not about grand gestures alone, but about emotional truth finally being spoken. They want to tell you that no one else stirred their soul the same way. They want you to know that every comparison led back to you. Every attempt to move forward without you only confirmed what they already felt but were afraid to admit. This card also reveals timing guided by emotion. The Knight of Cups appears when the heart is ready to lead. This return is not forced or rushed. It happens because they have reached emotional alignment. They are no longer questioning their feelings or testing alternatives. They have chosen, and that choice feels romantic, intentional, and sincere. There is also a message here about hope. The Knight of Cups does not carry bitterness from the past. Instead, it carries belief in what could still be possible. They imagine a future conversation, a moment of reconnection, and a chance to express love in a way they couldn't before. This isn't about repeating old mistakes, but about showing up differently, with emotional maturity and openness. Ultimately, the Knight of Cups tells us that their return is guided by love, not comparison anymore. The searching has ended. The heart has spoken clearly. What once felt confusing now feels obvious. They are coming back not to test the waters, but to offer their heart honestly. And when the Knight of Cups arrives, it's because love has finally become stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, and stronger than every other option they once considered. When the Lovers, Judgment, and the Knight of Cups appear together, they tell a powerful and deeply emotional story about love that could not be replaced, truth that could not be avoided, and feelings that could no longer be hidden. This is not a casual return. This is not someone drifting back out of boredom. This is a soul-level realization unfolding step by step, and every card adds another layer to why they are coming back to claim what they now know is irreplaceable. The Lovers begins this story by revealing the choice they made and the comparisons that followed. This person truly believed they could find the same connection elsewhere. They explored other options, listened to other voices, and tried to convince themselves that love could be recreated. But every comparison led to disappointment. Every new connection felt weaker, quieter, and less alive. The Lovers shows that they were not confused about what they felt for you. They were afraid of it. Your connection touched them deeply, and instead of leaning in, they stepped away to see if something easier existed. It didn't, and that truth slowly settled into their heart. Judgment then steps in like a wake-up call they could not silence. This card represents the moment everything became clear. Memories returned, emotions resurfaced, and the weight of their choices finally hit them. Judgment shows that they looked back honestly and realized how much they lost by walking away. Time didn't erase you, it magnified your presence. While they tried to move forward, something inside them stayed behind with you. This was not about regret alone. This was about understanding. They saw how fear guided their actions and how avoidance cost them something real. Together, the Lovers and Judgment show a full emotional cycle, choosing, comparing, and then awakening. They no longer see you through the lens of the past. They see you through clarity. They recognize now that what they felt with you was rare, deep, and meaningful. Other options showed them contrast, not replacement. And once Judgment speaks, there is no going back to denial. The truth becomes impossible to ignore. This is where the Knight of Cups enters, carrying emotion openly and honestly. This card shows how they are coming back, not guarded, not defensive, but led by the heart. The Knight of Cups is about emotional courage. It represents someone who is finally ready to express what they feel without hiding behind logic or pride. After all the comparisons and realizations, they are no longer running. They are moving toward you with sincerity. The Knight of Cups also reveals how deeply they feel now. They don't just miss you. They understand you. They replay moments, conversations, and feelings, realizing how safe and alive they felt in your presence. With others, things felt temporary. With you, things felt real. That realization fuels their desire to return with honesty rather than excuses. They want to speak from the heart, even if their voice shakes. When these three cards come together, they tell a story of transformation. This is someone who had to lose clarity to find it again. They had to experience what wasn't right to understand what was. The Lovers shows the bond. Judgment shows the awakening. The Knight of Cups shows the action. This return is not impulsive. It's emotionally earned. As this message flows through Sophia, it carries a gentle but powerful reminder. Not every separation is permanent, and not every return is the same. Some people need distance to understand love. Some hearts need contrast to recognize truth. This person is not coming back as the same version who left. They are coming back changed, humbled, and emotionally aware. There is also an important message here for you. This story is not about waiting or chasing. It's about alignment. The cards show that whatever happens next will be guided by honesty. The energy now favors truth over fear, openness over silence. Whether the return leads to reconciliation or closure, it will bring clarity and emotional release. Ultimately, these three cards together reveal one clear truth. You were never replaceable. You were compared, measured, and tested against others, and you remained unmatched. Love like that leaves an imprint, and when the heart finally accepts what it knows, it finds its way back, guided not by need, but by truth.